CIPA, the Camera Imaging and Products Association, released total shipped units for interchangeable lens cameras, DSLRs, and point-and-shoots. And the news might seem positive at first, but they quickly turn negative. Interchangeable lens camera sales are up 1.2% over 2022. And while positive, that's down considerably to 2022 when we saw a 10.81% increase over 2021. And at first, the numbers do look good. 1.2% growth in 2023. But that's a drop in growth of 9.59% over the previous year. But when we look at total digital camera sales, not just interchangeable lens cameras, including both DSLRs and point-and-shoots, the news gets worse. Total worldwide shipments for 2023, according to CIPA, was 7,720,505. That's down 3.6% over 2022, which had 8,011,598 shipped units, which is down a further 4.18% over 2021, which had 8,361,521 units. This might explain why we're seeing such competition, aggressive competition between Canon, Sony, and Nikon, the top three players in the marketplace, releasing better and better cameras one after the other, leapfrogging each other, surprising us with stacked sensors, with 8K video, with 20 frames per second, 40 frames per second, to the point where as I'm rattling off these different capabilities, you're probably going, yeah, ho-hum, because we're getting used to such aggressive capabilities and enhancements in these cameras. But being aggressive in terms of capabilities isn't the only strategy being used by the top companies. Canon launched the R6 Mark II in early November to get it ready for the 2023 season, and it priced the R6 Mark II at the exact same price as the Mark I from 3 years earlier at $24.99. And the Canon RF 200 to 800 millimeter, instead of being priced well over $2,000 as many had expected, it came in at just $18.99. But not everybody's employing an aggressive pricing strategy to fight dwindling market share. Sony, in fact, raised the price of the A7 IV by $500 over the A7 III last year. And this year, the A7C Mark II, well, it got a price increase over the Mark I by a similar margin. When it comes to digital camera sales, the one segment of the marketplace that is growing is, well, not really a surprise. It's mirrorless camera sales. It's up some 16 to 18% over the previous year. And DSLRs, well, they're down a whopping 36%. But that really shouldn't be a surprise. We're transitioning away from DSLRs to mirrorless. And why the big drop in 2023? Well, because Canon and Nikon, the two big holdouts with DSLRs, the two biggest producers of DSLRs, they've significantly cut back. They've finally caught up to the competition. And with the exception of Canon with the 1DX Mark III, it still has yet been refreshed with the mirrorless version, the Canon EOS R1, but we're supposed to be on the heels of an announcement. If we believe the latest rumors, it's supposed to be announced sometime in, well, late April or early May, but it's definitely going to be released this year. And that explains why DSLR sales are down over mirrorless sales. So what does this mean for you and I, for the camera market? Well, for the foreseeable future, for 2024, 2025, and 2026, we can expect the competition amongst the big three, Sony, Canon, and Nikon, to be aggressive, announcing better and better cameras with more astonishing capabilities, with innovations and things like, well, I hate to use this word insane, but aggressive and game changer. I think we're going to start using those terms a little bit more frequently, not just because it's fun to use those words, but because we're going to get shocked. We're going to be surprised by what these camera companies are going to do with at least their high-end cameras, their top producers, as well as mid-level cameras. We'll also continue to see pricing as a strategy used to compete with the competition. Canon, surprisingly, is selling their gear at less than what we expect them to do. When the R6 Mark II was released for the exact same price as the Mark I, it drew a lot of gasps and ahs from, well, everybody. Photographers, videographers, pros, and hobbyists alike. And then when the 200 to 800 came out, that was a big surprise as well. But Sony's taking a different approach, saying, look, we're here, we produce some of the best stuff on the market. We're no longer going to discount our products. The A7 IV up $500. The A7C Mark II up $400 to $500 over the Mark I. So we're going to see some changes in competition in terms of pricing, and we're going to see discounts, and we're going to see price increases, and we're going to see which strategy works. It's interesting to see these companies pivot, and it's going to keep, and we're going to see this over the next couple of years. It's going to be in a very aggressive time in terms of the strategy being employed, how it's going to be tactically implemented at the operational level, from new capabilities to pricing, and who knows, maybe even some agreements. Look at that global shutter sensor that Sony has in the A9 Mark III. It's terrific, but this is Sony's first global shutter sensor. All we have to do is take a look at the Red V-Raptor X and XL. It has a global shutter sensor as well, but it's capable of doing 8K video and with a minimum of 17 stops of dynamic range, going all the way up to 20 stops. So I think we're going to see a lot of, wow, I can't believe this. And the A9 Mark III is the first Sony camera to have a global shutter. What's the A9 Mark II going to have? Will they finally give us 8K on a global shutter sensor similar to Red with all the dynamic range and low light performance that we expect? What about Canon? They've been working on patents for a global shutter for a long time, for some 8 years. Will Canon release a global shutter in one of their Pro Series cameras coming out in 2024? Well, we just don't know, because Canon's been doing a really, really good job of hiding all their, well, not letting anything leak. They've done a really good job, and there seems to be, if anything else this year, a strategy of disinformation being used. But at the end of the day, we're photographers, videographers, pros and hobbyists alike. The competition is a good thing for us. We don't need to get caught up in Sony versus Canon versus Nikon versus Panasonic. At the end of the day, we use our kit to produce the results, the outcome, the value chains that we're looking for. And that's really what it's about. What are the outcomes? What are the potentials of these cameras and lenses? And how do they simplify the workflow so that we can get the shots that we're looking for? Let Canon, Nikon, Sony, and Panasonic battle it out. It's only going to be better for us. Let's not argue amongst each other. If you like Sony, great. If you like Canon, great. Or Panasonic, let's share our experiences. Let's not argue with each other over who's got the best camera, because at the end of the day, the best camera for you is different from the best camera for me. It depends on what my value chain is, what I'm trying to achieve, what capabilities I'm looking for, my workflow, as to which camera is best for me. And that differs for you. I don't think that Sony has the worst camera. I don't think they have the best camera. Same with Canon. I think it's all about getting the right camera for you. And I'm really excited to see what might come here in 2024, 2025, and beyond. So while the market share is definitely contracting, I think for us as customers, I think things are looking rather bright indeed. And talking about bright, it's -9 outside, but beautifully sunny. It's cold, it's perfect. We just got snow yesterday. So what that means is the snow looks perfect. It glistens against the sun. The birds are out there. Because it's not windy, they're sitting on the trees, allowing me to capture them, to take my 200 to 800 millimeter out there to get some shots, shoot some video, and, well, have a great start to the weekend. And if you like this video, then please go ahead and click that subscribe button. It really does help this channel grow. And consider following me on X to stay up to date on all the latest camera gear, news, and rumors. And if you're interested in purchasing any camera gear that I've talked about in this video, whether it be from Canon, Sony, Nikon, Panasonic, or whether it's accessories or lenses, then please consider using my affiliate links in the description down below. I've got them right here on the screen. One thing, if you do use these, it won't cost you anything extra at all, but I do get anywhere from 2 to 12% back, which goes back to supporting this channel, allowing me to purchase some of the latest and greatest, so I can tell you what it's like to live with the latest Canon RF 200 to 800 millimeter, the 100 to 500 millimeter, 100 millimeter, the 50 millimeter f1.2, and the list goes on. And a special thank you to everybody that has used my affiliate links. This channel wouldn't be where it is today, so thank you very much. Have yourself a great weekend, and stay tuned. CP Plus is next week from the 22nd to the 25th. And who knows, maybe we'll start hearing some announcements starting tomorrow. Because with CP Plus, it's not the announcements at the show that matter, it's the announcements that start before the show. Yeah, it's actually a thing with CP Plus. It's held in Yokohama, Japan, and it's just a few days away. So I will be providing you with coverage of that event. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again soon.